that's it. Any questions? Yes.
Peter, you said make sure you get into your friends' news feeds. Can you tell us a little bit about the changes in the news feeds and the new format for your pages?
So yeah, the format, the changes to the Facebook pages should have no influence directly on how it goes into the newsfeed. That was just more of a formatting to make sure that, so what company do you represent? Right.
A couple of chicks.
Okay, a couple of chicks. So if it's a couple of chicks, right, so a lot of people have relationships with a couple of chicks in the offline world, right? That actually sounds really funny when I say it in that way. So as they have those relationships, what we want to do is represent your brand on Facebook in the same way that it interact with a real person as well, right? So the changes were to reflect brands to appear more and more and behave more and more like people, because the interactions we have in the offline world start to mimic that. Does that make sense? But going back to the newsfeed, the brand has to be smart enough to publish and make its way into the newsfeed. It goes back to my Europe example, right? If it doesn't go into the newsfeed, my friends will never find the photos, unless you're that person that specifically is creeping the couple of chicks friend page.
But when you're posting, it's going into a newsfeed.
Right, but it doesn't always go into the newsfeed. There's actually an algorithm that determines whether it goes there or not. So it's a practice of making its way there.
And that's based on?
A whole bunch of factors. Like, it's one of those things I was saying earlier, don't try to beat the system, just try to follow the sort of best practices tips, and you should find your way there. But it makes assumptions on, is this relevant to the person? Do they like the content? Is it engaging? Is it something that people care about? How many other people are interacting with it, right? So it's a whole series of social influences that'll determine if it makes its way into the newsfeed. Yes?
If you had the great misfortune to have created a Facebook group and then lost contact with your people after the 5,000 members, is there a way to morph that over into a fan page, or to move those followers over, or we just kind of unlock it and start fresh?
Yes, you're not going to like my answer to that. The only thing, the only thing we can migrate is a page to a page. So we cannot migrate a group to a page. So let's say you set up a page and it was kind of like a crappy page and you named it incorrectly, and for whatever reason we need to migrate 5,000 people to another page, we can do that. But if it's a group, we actually cannot migrate any members of that group to a page. Yes?
We have created a Facebook profile and a page for our business. I work for a museum, so what we've done is we didn't want the institutional picture because it's just not engaging. There's nothing interesting about it. It doesn't do anything for anyone. So what we've taken is, the first thing you see when you walk through our gallery is a mammoth. Her name is Tara the Mammoth. So Tara the Mammoth is actually our Facebook profile. So I talk to people as Tara, as your museum guide. Then our page is our actual museum. So is that something where, because I'm trying to sound engaging by putting up those interesting pictures, but at the same time I know the importance of a page. Should I be updating both of them? Should I do away with Tara's profile? But to me, a lot of, because it doesn't say our museum's name, but it's more interesting.
So I don't want to call you out on this, but you actually can't have Tara as a profile page. That's actually not allowed by our terms. So, right, I put that. So here's what you should. So here's what you should do. You can still make Tara the voice of your museum. In the U.S., the voice of Travelocity is the gnome. So everything that comes from Travelocity is actually the gnome. And the brand never speaks, the gnome speaks. If the gnome isn't in Paris, the brand can't talk. The gnome actually has to be in Paris. So if you want to use Tara as your voice, you can use her as the voice of the museum. Remove the profile page and just find a way to get people to go to your Facebook page, and then the engagement happens there. The reason the profile is going to be weak anyways is because you can't publish, the newsfeed publication doesn't happen there, right? You need the page to actually publish into the newsfeed. So I would just take all the activity you're doing with Tara and make that come alive on the museum. Think about your newsfeed experience. Before you even read the text, what do you guys see? You look at the photo, right? So use the profile photo of Tara as your museum thing. It'll probably generate more activity as well. So think about your page profile picture as a way to leverage how people engage, because it's powerful. It's one of the most underutilized things on the platform, where people think, oh, they can think about, your image may be big, but the thumbnail may be small, so you have to play around with what the thumbnail looks like as well.